Luna stood motionless in the fading twilight, her silhouette framed by the cold, angular forms of stone sculptures. The garden was deserted, save for the boy, Hayes, seated on the marble bench beneath the towering weeping angel. He was quiet, confused, too young to understand the gravity of what was happening. She watched him without blinking. There was no turning back now. The message had already been sent to Steffi. One location, one demand, one exchange, her son for the damning video. No police, no Finn, no tricks. But Luna knew better than to trust a Forrester. She remembered everything. The humiliation, the judgmental glances, the icy silence that replaced affection when the truth came out. She wasn't one of them, never had been. A dalliance, an outsider, disposable. When the truth of her mother's past had come to light, and with it, Luna's questionable lineage, the mighty Forrester clan had closed ranks. She was cast out without hesitation, no hearing, no redemption. The message had been clear. Her presence, once barely tolerated, was now unwelcome. Even RJ, who once whispered forever, had backed away in cowardly silence. The anger had simmered for months. It wasn't about love anymore. It wasn't even about belonging. It was about justice, the kind that hurt. And tonight, she would make them feel every wound they ever inflicted. Steffi received the message just after dark. Her hands trembled as she read it over and over. Asterisk, come alone. No Finn. No security. You'll get your son back when I get the video. Asterisk, her mind raced. The footage, hidden for months, was never supposed to surface. Not after what had happened in Monaco. The video could destroy not just her marriage, but everything she had built with Finn. It was leverage. Luna had found it, and now she was using it like a knife. At first, Steffi assumed it was a bluff. Luna wouldn't dare. But then came the photo. Hayes, in that eerie sculpture garden at the old Forrester estate on Mulholland. The one no one ever visited anymore. And the timestamp was undeniable. He was with Luna. And Luna was serious. She left the house without a word. Finn had been in surgery all day. He didn't need to know yet. The moment Steffi stepped out of her car, the night felt heavier. The path to the sculpture garden was dim, lit only by solar lanterns half dead from disuse. Shadows danced across jagged faces carved in stone, and her heels crunched against gravel as she moved closer. Luna was waiting. Exactly where she said she'd be. Where is he? Steffi demanded, scanning the garden. Luna raised one hand and pointed to the bench behind her. Hayes sat quietly, holding a stuffed tiger. Relief surged through Steffi, but only for a second. Then she saw the glint of metal in Luna's other hand. A gun. You brought a gun? Steffi whispered, horrified. Just in case. Luna said flatly. You brought the video? Steffi hesitated, pulling her phone from her pocket. It's right here. I'll delete it. Just let him go. Delete it? You think I'm stupid? Luna snapped. You think I don't know how many copies you've made? How many people you've shown? No. You give me every copy or I swear, okay? Steffi interjected. I'll give you everything. Just calm down. The moment was taut, the silence thick as fog. And then, movement behind the trees. Luna saw it first. Her eyes narrowed. You didn't listen to me. I came alone. Steffi pleaded, turning around. I swear I... But Finn emerged from the trees a moment later, breathless, calling out. Steffi. Everything collapsed in an instant. Luna screamed, you lied. The gun jerked upward. Steffi lunged forward. Finn shouted something, but it was drowned in the chaos. A flash. A bang. The recoil snapped Luna's arm back, her eyes wide in horror. Then silence. Hayes screamed. Steffi froze. and Finn fell. He crumpled to the ground, blood spreading across his shirt like spilled ink. Luna dropped the gun. No, no, no. No, she whispered, stepping back, hands trembling. I didn't mean. Steffi dropped to her knees beside Finn, pressing her hands to the wound. Stay with me, Finn. But he was already fading, his eyes rolling back, lips moving with no sound. Luna ran. She didn't know where, didn't know how. She just knew she couldn't stay. Not now. Not after this. The headlines broke within the hour. Renowned trauma surgeon shot in hostage standoff. Asterisk family feud turns tragic. Asterisk the city of Los Angeles buzzed with speculation, and the Forrester name was once again at the center of scandal, this time darker than anything before. Finn survived the surgery, but barely. The bullet had missed his heart by a whisper, but damage to his lung and ribs would keep him out of work for months, maybe more. Steffi stayed by his side, refusing to leave, while Hayes was whisked away to safety by Ridge and Brooke. And Luna? Gone. No one had seen her since the night of the shooting. The police had issued a warrant. Her face was everywhere. TV, social media, tabloid covers. RJ pleaded with the public to help find her, but his words were hollow. He'd been silent too long. Behind closed doors, the Forresters went into survival mode. Statements were drafted. Lawyers were hired. Security was tightened. And yet none of it could erase the truth. One of their own had pulled the trigger. But for Luna, hiding wasn't peace. It was purgatory. She holed up in a rundown motel near Venice Beach, glued to news reports, watching her world unravel in real time. Her mother's calls went unanswered. Her friends turned ghost. And the only thing that echoed louder than the sirens in her mind was the question, what have I done? At night, she dreamt of Finn's eyes, wide in shock. Of Steffi's scream. Of the weight of the gun in her hand. Every time she closed her eyes, it replayed in full. But even with the guilt, a voice inside her whispered. Asterisk, they made you this way. They made you a villain. You just played the part. Asterisk, she didn't regret confronting Steffi. She didn't regret making them squirm. But the shooting, God, the shooting wasn't supposed to happen. And yet it did. And now there was blood on her hands. As the weeks dragged on, a strange split occurred in public sentiment. Some saw Luna as a vengeful lunatic, a dangerous outsider who had no place among the elite. But others, especially the younger crowd, saw her as a rebel. A woman betrayed by a powerful family, driven to desperation. Memes circulated. Hashtags like #JusticeForLuna and #ForresterFallout went viral. The Forresters didn't speak of her publicly again. Until the trial. They caught her 6 weeks later in Santa Barbara. A tip from a motel clerk. She didn't run this time. When the officers burst in, she was sitting cross-legged on the floor, watching a home video of herself and RJ from happier days. She didn't fight. Didn't speak. Just raised her hands and let them cuff her. The courtroom was packed every day. Steffi testified first. Then Finn, frail, but alive, spoke of betrayal and pain. Luna sat stone-faced, eyes unreadable. When RJ took the stand, he broke down, apologizing publicly for abandoning her, saying he never believed she was dangerous. The defense argued diminished responsibility, emotional trauma, mental health struggles, impulsive action, not premeditated violence. The prosecution said otherwise. In the end, the jury was divided. They convicted her on lesser charges: reckless endangerment, unlawful possession of a firearm, kidnapping, not attempted murder. She was sentenced to 5 years. The news cycle moved on. But the wounds did not. Steffi never forgave her. Ridge refused to speak her name. Brooke, behind closed doors, admitted she sometimes dreamed of what could have been if someone had just shown Luna a little more kindness. As for RJ, he visited once, months later. Sat across the glass and told her he still thought about her every day. Luna didn't reply, just picked up the phone, whispered, "Tell Hayes I'm sorry," and hung up. And with that, the girl they cast out became the storm they never saw coming. Not a villain, not a hero, just the consequence. And Los Angeles would never forget. The silence after the shot was unnatural, deafening in its stillness. For a split second, no one moved. Hayes slumped over on the marble bench, the stuffed tiger falling from his arms. The red stains spread quickly across his little shirt. Time froze. Then a sound, animal, primal, tore through the air. "No!" Finn's scream shattered the garden's heavy hush. He sprinted toward his son, collapsed beside him, scooped him up in trembling arms. Hayes, look at me. Stay with me. Stay with me, buddy." His voice cracked as he pressed his hand against the wound, trying to stop the bleeding. But it was too much. Too fast. The life was already draining from Hayes' small, delicate body. Steffi was paralyzed. Her breath caught in her throat. Her knees buckled as she stumbled forward, her face contorted in horror. No, please God no," she whispered, dropping beside them, watching the light fade from her son's eyes. But Luna stood frozen, the gun still in her hand. Her mouth opened, but no sound came. Her whole body trembled. This wasn't what was supposed to happen. Not Hayes. Not the child. She stared at her hands like they didn't belong to her, like she couldn't understand what they had just done. The gun clattered to the gravel as her legs gave way, and she dropped to her knees, clutching her head. Her fingers dug into her scalp as if trying to tear the memory out. "I didn't mean to, I didn't, oh my God, she whispered, rocking back and forth. Finn sobbed uncontrollably, cradling Hayes' lifeless body to his chest. "Come on, Hayes. Come on, you're okay. Please, baby, stay with me." Steffi's scream pierced the air. "Somebody help us. Call 911. But Luna wasn't listening. She couldn't hear anything anymore. Her mind was drowning in the sound of that shot, the image of Hayes falling, the blood, so much blood. And then, panic. Like a fire in her chest, it took over. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think. She staggered to her feet, eyes wide with terror. "Luna!" Steffi shouted, seeing her rise. You did this. But Luna turned and ran. She didn't even look back. She ran past the angel statues, through the hedge-lined corridor, out into the night. The gravel cut into her feet. Branches scraped her arms. Her vision blurred, her heart pounded louder than her thoughts. She had to get away. Anywhere. Just away. Inside the sculpture garden, Finn rocked back and forth with Hayes' tiny, motionless body in his arms, his blood mixing with his son's. His cries echoed into the darkness. Steffi collapsed beside them, her sobs strangled and guttural. The paramedics arrived minutes later, but there was nothing they could do. Hayes Forrester Finnegan was pronounced dead on the scene. The news spread like wildfire. By morning, the entire city knew. A child dead in Forrester family tragedy. Luna Nozawa sought in deadly shooting of Hayes Forrester. The outpouring of grief was immediate and raw. Vigils were held across Los Angeles. Thousands of candles burned in front of Forrester Creations. Flowers flooded the gates of the estate. A once divided public now stood united in heartbreak. But no one could find Luna. She'd disappeared off the grid. No car, no phone signal, no credit card activity. Police tracked down every possible lead, but she was always one step ahead, like a ghost moving through the wreckage she left behind. Steffi and Finn retreated into silence. They couldn't speak to reporters. Couldn't speak to each other. There were no words for what had been lost. Ridge, crushed, blamed himself for ever letting Luna near the family. Brooke tried to comfort him, but she too was broken. Hope cried for hours in her office. RJ locked himself in his apartment, unreachable, consumed with guilt. Everywhere the Forresters went, they were followed by whispers, cameras, judgment, and sympathy. But none of it brought Hayes back. Luna didn't sleep. She wandered the alleys of downtown LA, wearing clothes too big and eyes too hollow. The city blurred around her, noises, colors, people, but she was in another dimension, trapped in that one moment over and over again. Hayes's eyes. Finn's scream. The smell of blood. She wanted to turn herself in. She tried twice. She got as far as a police station once, even reached for the handle. But she couldn't do it. She couldn't face what she had done. Not yet. A week after the funeral, which was broadcast live across networks and attended by every major name in fashion, entertainment, and politics, Steffi emerged. She stood at the Forrester estate steps, wearing black, her face pale and firm. This was not an accident, she said, her voice cutting the silence. This was the result of hate, of obsession, of someone who let revenge consume them. Her hands shook, but she didn't stop. Luna Nozawa took our child. And until she's behind bars, no one is safe. The clip went viral. The police redoubled their search. Rewards were raised. Luna's name became synonymous with tragedy. Yet somewhere, hidden beneath layers of grief and fury, a seed of doubt remained. Was Luna a monster, or was she a girl who broke? And who, ultimately, was to blame? The family? The secrets? The betrayals that led her down that path? None of it mattered now. What mattered was justice. And it was closing in.